Hi everyone, this is CRH Films. Sit back and we'll get started. Today I'm going to tell you about the 2010 movie, Repo Man. In 2025, mankind has learned to create biomechanical organs. Union Corporation specializes in selling them in cash or on credit, with the latter option being more profitable for it from a commercial point of view. However, if the monthly payment is overdue by 96 days, the organ must be returned to the owning company. The Ripper comes for the organ and legally retrieves it, even if this operation will result in the death of the bearer. The Ripper uses a special scanner to locate the debtor and then takes the organ to Union's warehouse. Remy and his friend Jake Frywald have known each other since high school, later served in the army together, and when they returned they found nothing better than to become Rippers. They are the best Rippers in the company. Remy has a wife, Carol, and a son, Peter. Carol is unhappy with his occupation, fearing a negative influence on their son, and advises him to take a job in Union's sales department, but Remy is hesitant to talk to his boss. The boss's name is Frank Mercer. He is unscrupulous and very greedy for money, just like everyone at Union. Carol doesn't like Jake, but she tolerates him because he is Remy's best friend. They spend a lot of time together. After the work, they go to a bar. On the way they discuss the new M5 neural network, a device that keeps the user alive while immersing him in his own fantasy world until he dies. In a bar, Remy sees a singer with a very beautiful voice. He can't take his eyes off her all evening and thinks about her all the way home. On the weekend, they have a barbecue. Jake gets a call from a cab driver he knows who is driving a debtor and offers to let Jake take his organ from him. Jake agrees, but before he does, he asks Remy's permission to strip the debtor near his house. Jay removes the kidney from the debtor in the cab in front of the house. Carol goes to see where he is and sees the whole horror. She's very angry with Remy, takes her son and leaves. The man realizes he could lose his family and decides to move to sales. Jay does not want to let his friend go, as he really likes working with Remy. Later he prevents him from talking to Frank. He convinces Remy to perform one last task, to take the organ from a popular musician. Remy agrees as he thinks that it will be a great end to his career as a Ripper. The musician understands everything and does not resist. He lies down on the floor and is ready to have his heart taken away. Remy starts the defibrillator, but due to a malfunction, the device electrocutes Remy. He wakes up in the hospital. Because of the strong electric shock, his heart became unusable and they put him a biomechanical one, and on credit. He is not happy about it, but there is no other way out, either death or a heart on credit. After the hospital he goes home, but Carol has changed the locks. She doesn't want to hear anything and kicks him out of the house. Remy is left with nothing to do but go to live with Jake. When he arrives at the work, they throw him a party in honor of his return, and afterwards he is sent on a new mission. Remy can't harvest organs like he used to. He has a conscience and realizes that every debtor has a family. Remy comes to his wife again to talk to her. She gives him a letter from the bank because of the unpaid loan and closes the door. He is transferred to the sales department to earn more money, but this job is not for him as he is too straightforward. Later, he places bets but loses everything. Jake wants to help his friend and takes him to a neighborhood where many debtors are hiding. Jake immediately finds the people with overdue payments, knocks them out with electric shocks and walks away, leaving Remy alone with the debtors, but he still can't take their organs. The debtors regain consciousness and attack Remy. When the man wakes up, he hears a familiar song. He sees the same singer from the bar named Beth. The girl is drugged. Remy takes her to a motel. In the morning he scans her and sees that the girl has taken out loans for almost all her organs. When the girl wakes up she lashes out at Remy because she thinks he's a Ripper, but when she sees the scar on her chest she calms down. Remy goes to the work and erases the barcodes from the organs in hopes of removing Beth's data from the system. Jake sees it all. He won't turn Remy over to security since it hasn't been 96 days. Remy goes to Beth and takes her to an abandoned house where the same debtors are hiding and move into one of the apartments. Frank gives out orders. Jake gets to take the heart from Remy, but he refuses. Then the order is given to Ray, who has only taken ears before. Beth and Remy arrange a new apartment. Beth finds a typewriter and gives it to Remy, on which the man writes an autobiography. They live quietly in the new house, but one day the Ripper comes for Remy. Beth hears his footsteps thanks to her biomechanical ears and gives him a listen, thanks to which the couple has time to prepare for the Ripper's visit. They lure him into a trap by spreading a cloth on the floor underneath, which was the hole Ray fell into. the floor collapses and Beth falls down, Remy drops a typewriter on Ray's head to protect Beth. They take Ray's car and drive to the union office. On the way, Beth is bleeding from her wound. Upon arriving, Remy changes into a long suit and goes to boss's office. Remy demands of Frank that he get him and Beth out of the debtor system. Frank says that because of Remy's shenanigans with barcodes, scanning is now only happening at the main office. Remy shoots him with a taser and leaves. The couple decides to flee the country, Remy stealing the scanning jammers from the office to pass undetected at the airport. Other passengers notice the girl bleeding and the couple are taken away for help. One of the Rippers recognizes Remy and calls for backup. With a fight, they have to leave the building. Jake is also sent after them. Beth and Remy go to see her old acquaintance, Vulture, who installs stolen organs, but he says he can't replace Beth's joint and sends her to Alva. Beth has already been to her and doesn't want to go to her again, but there is no other option. Beth is put to sleep and Alva's 9-year-old daughter takes over. After the operation, the pair go back to the Vulture, but he's already dead. Jay has tracked them down and ambushed them. Jake confesses he deliberately damaged the defibrillator so they could continue to work together like old times. Remy attacks Jake, but he's stronger than him. Jake throws him to the floor and swings an iron hook at him. Remy faints. He sees a good memory from his life. The man regains consciousness and it turns out Beth managed to shoot Jake with a taser, but the trouble doesn't end there. Other Rippers arrive in the buildings and the couple have to run away again. They are rescued by other debtors and the couple enter rooms where the Rippers' scanners won't see them. When the Rippers leave, Remy and Beth go outside. Remy comes up with a plan to rid them of the loans and the threat of death, but before doing so, he has one last meeting with Carol and Peter, to whom he gives his manuscript. The pair sneak into the union headquarters in the car of Frank, whom they had previously neutralized in his car, and then they make their way to the database. In front of the right door are the Rippers. Remy has no choice but to kill them all. The pair are almost caught up by Jake, but thanks to Beth's biomechanical eye, they manage to open the door in time. To clean up their records, the couple is forced to cut themselves with a scalpel and scan the organs inside their own bodies. Managing to break into the server room, Jake and Frank discover that Remy is trying to scan the dying Beth's last organ. Because of what he sees, Jake refuses to kill the debtors, then uses his weapon against Frank and blows up the database in an attempt to save Beth. Later on we see Remy vacationing on a tropical island with Beth and Jake, his manuscript published under the title Dirty Mambo or the Rippers. However, a few things get in the way of the former Rippers' enjoyment of peace. Jake suddenly disappears, leaving a book on his chair. The beach itself flickers statically for a while before returning to its original state. It turns out that when he lost consciousness in the fight with Jake, Remy suffered brain damage and fell into a coma. The organs found in the Vulture's apartment were used to pay off the debt for the heart, and the loan for the M5 neural network that Remy was connected to will be paid by Jake. Beth is unconscious, but Jake says he will deal with her himself, then says goodbye to his friend. Remy will spend the rest of his life in this beautiful place, with his best friend and the woman he loves.